y'all. We're back for Mama's Tea Time, episode 2, and I'm Jessica.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Rachel.
This time we're going to do things a little differently. Instead of someone reading 2 stories, we're each going to read 1. So we each came with our own story. Who wants to go first?
Yeah, I'll go. Okay, so this is kind of a long one. I'm going to try not to laugh through it.
Oh, no.
Let's go. I, female, 34, walked in on my husband, male, 36, wearing a diaper and acting like a child. Where do we go from here?
That should be the end.
What? Okay. My husband has been acting odd lately. I first noticed it a few months ago when we were at the grocery store. He would buy things that are geared towards children, such as a stuffed animal, candies that he previously said were only for children, things like that. He'd go out of his way to get kids' meals at restaurants as well. But it wasn't every day, and it wasn't a lot, so I figured maybe he was finally giving in to what he'd always wanted as a child. He had a rough time growing up, but both of his parents were abusive and parentified him. He's currently in therapy for that. Then he started pulling away from me at home. He would start spending time in our bedroom with the door locked, saying he was napping, but I could hear voices in there. He stopped leaving his phone out and changed the passwords when I asked about it. I had used his phone to make a call while he was driving. He couldn't give me a straight answer. He pushed me to go places without him, leaving him alone in the house. I thought he was cheating. Maybe the younger women brought out his new feelings in him, making him want to act like a kid again. So today I went out to the gym as I normally do, but this time I left my phone at home on purpose. I drove all the way there, hoping to make him think it was a normal visit with the timing, and then I came back.
Oh, God.
When I walked in, the TV was on, playing a kid's cartoon, and I saw my husband sitting on the floor in an adult pull-up with a pacifier in his mouth. He turned around. I don't think he had heard the door open, and he looked terrified. The only word I could really use for it, he looked afraid of me. He pulled his pacifier out and tried to explain, but I told him that I needed time before I could talk. And before he said anything, I was out the door. I'm at my sister's house now. I told her that we had a fight, but not what it was about. My husband had been texting me, asking to call or come home, but I hadn't responded. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And there's updates, but I want to know what you guys think. Before I read the update.
I don't know what to think.
Picture yourself in that situation. Like, I don't know. I think I would probably just give him crap about it and make, but also I don't want to kink shame.
I just don't know why. Like, can you imagine seeing your husband?
I mean, it's one thing to do that, but they also have to go out and buy that stuff in public. Like, without a child around.
But people could think that they're just buying it for their kid at home.
Well, they're adult diapers. Yeah, and a pacifier. I guess that makes sense. But, like, I would feel nervous if I decided to one day want to wear diapers and then have a pacifier. Like, I'd go to the store and be like, why am I getting these? I don't know.
I would want to know if he's brought this up to his therapist, because she said he's in therapy.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's something they're working through, then I don't know.
There's updates, and I got the updates. I got the tea, guys.
Let's go. I'm nervous.
Update. I have texted my husband letting him know that I'm going to stay the night at my sister's house. I told him that I'm not upset with him and would like to talk about what I saw, but want to ensure I'm in the right headspace to do so. We have both been having a stressful time, and I want to make sure I'm completely calm before meeting with him. I don't want to be upset or hurt him further. I also reaffirmed that I love him very much and that we are not getting a divorce. Sorry, those of you who were saying we should. I'm going to talk to him about everything first.
Well, I would have never thought straight divorce.
I know that's
No.
So she had many people saying,
No.
you need to divorce him. You need to do it. And she had to provide that update because so many people were telling him to divorce him.
So there's an update number 2, because I guess people had questions like, why was he doing that? Which I was like, why was he doing that?
For real.
I headed home early this morning. We have had a conversation, and yes, you guys were right. He is an age regressor and has been participating in this for a few months now. His therapist recommended it to him as a way to reclaim his childhood. It had apparently been helpful for him, especially now that we have been trying for kids. He has struggled with thoughts of turning into his parents, and this has helped him come to terms with those fears in a healthier way. He had been planning to tell me for a while, but he had struggled with figuring out the right way. I did tell him about the suspected cheating, and we both had a good laugh about that. I'm glad it was only this. I told him that I still loved him, and while this was not the ideal way for him to find out, I would be willing to participate in this activity with him if he wanted me to. He said he would be comfortable with that, and we have plans to watch one of his shows together tonight and order in food for dinner. Thank you all for your advice, except those of you who called my husband a freak. It helped me put this into perspective.
That's a doozy.
That's the tea, guys.
That brought it up.
Would you guys be able to participate in it?
I don't know that I'd be able to participate, but I could look past
What does participating mean?
Like watching the cartoons and pull-ups and
like
pacifiers.
Also putting myself in those things?
Yeah.
I don't think I could do that. Maybe watching a show, but I don't think I could put myself in it.
I just don't know. I don't know if I could. Maybe if we went to therapy together and a therapist suggested that to me, but if he's just coming home, he's like, my therapist wants us to do this. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe let's try therapy first.
Maybe she should say, I need to go to the therapist with you. And then maybe
see if there's any alternate alternate methods. That's wild. At least she's comfortable with it, and like they did finally talk about it. It just took him getting caught to do it. Like my thing also, I'd have a little bit of a problem. Like, well, if this is what you were talking about in therapy, like why don't you talk to me? I'm your wife or whatever. Like when you're making big decisions like that.
Like I know therapy. Like obviously I'm a school social worker, so we do therapy stuff all the time. You don't always have to share with your spouse what you're doing, but I also think if it was going to that, if they suggested it to you, like, hey, this is like, be up front, this is something they're suggesting and I might be giving it a try. Like just be completely transparent from the start before you just even start doing it.
Yeah, because I would also be concerned of cheating if my husband was always saying, hey, leave the house, like go do something. It would not just seem like, it's not like normal Camden. Like I would not.
Sneaky. It's
like
sneaky
if it was something, if it's something I feel like that you are uncomfortable, like you wouldn't want to get caught. maybe have that conversation.
Yeah.
If it's something else where you're walking in and like you're just like meditating or something, like that's not a big deal. But I feel like something about changing your wardrobe and getting all this other stuff, like maybe have that conversation just in case like you have to have an excuse for when your wife or a significant other finds that stuff. I don't know.
I wasn't even, when I was reading it, I didn't think that it was going to go that way. I didn't even think that it was going to go from like a therapeutic, which you would think I would, but I didn't even think it was going to go like a recommendation from the therapist to do stuff like that, which it makes sense. And I believe it. But when I was reading, I was like, what is this? Like, what is he doing? Like, I don't even know what I would do.
Yeah. That's just a hard situation. Like, put myself and be like, what would that be like? That's just crazy.
Yeah, that's awkward. All right, what other tea do we have? Let's get it.
Okay. Let's see.
Ooh, I like being on this side of things.
So this one is called, and I don't know if y'all have heard of this series. Are we allowed to say asshole?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you the asshole?
I'd say so.
Am I the asshole for yelling at my partner for not helping at night with our newborn? And let me just tell you, at the top of Reddit stories, they put this of like, you can't really see what it says, but that blue highlighted part where it's like the majority of the votes were either like this person is an asshole or they're not. And this one says that the original poster is there's no assholes here. So.
Oh, okay.
We'll see. It says, I, 21-year-old female, and my partner, 21-year-old male, are first-time parents. He works around 8 hours a day in construction while I'm a stay-at-home mom. We each have our own jobs, and so far it's been working 85% of the time. We decided early in the pregnancy that this was the plan because of how expensive and nerve-wracking childcare can be. Preach. But like all first-time parents, we'd had no idea what to expect with a baby and how postpartum would affect me. I feel like we all can already relate with this.
Yeah.
Our son is 3 weeks old and has a pretty good schedule at the moment. He wakes up at 3-ish hours for a bottle and a diaper change, and my body is finally adjusting, so I'm handling it well until a surprise rough night happens. This is when our baby is more fussy than usual and scream cries, fights sleep, eats way more than normal, and just rebels against his usual routine. This is when my postpartum anger sets in. I get so angry because I'm tired, can't figure out what the baby needs from me, and I'm going through the motions. Meanwhile, my partner sleeps through everything. I wake him up numerous times saying, please tag me out. I'm getting too angry to think straight. I need help. I don't know what's wrong. And he wakes up for a second but goes back to sleep. I've experienced that. However, the last bad night we had, I lost it and I yelled at my partner. I was so angry I couldn't think, and my partner wouldn't wake up to help, so I yelled at him and woke him up out of a dead sleep. I instantly regretted it because he looked frightened, and after I said, I've been asking you for help and you won't. I can't do this. I'm tagging out. He got angry and called me a rude ass for yelling at him, said, I'll just get up then, with an attitude, and yelled at me because I went to go cry in the bathroom, saying, oh God, don't be like that. I'm not asking a lot, just help on the bad nights and the moments that I need to tag out for safety. However, I feel guilty I got angry with him. I know we each have things we do for our jobs. Okay, the quotes are getting a lot. Things we do for our jobs, and his isn't easy either. So, am I the asshole for getting angry and lashing out about the lack of help during bad nights?
Say no.
This is, I think, and I am a first-time parent, like, somewhat, I think I'm the newest first-time parent out of the three of us, and, like, so, like, we recently went through this stage, and it was hard, but I feel like with the first-time aspect of it is what makes it harder, like, when it's your first kid. I don't know, I don't have a second one yet, but I'm just assuming, because you kind of just, you know what to do, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like when you're, so when you're sleep deprived, you're not yourself.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, obviously you take accountability, you take ownership. It also made me laugh when she said he looks frightened to me. Because I feel like that just made me laugh. Because I've been where it's been where you're sleeping and then you're waking up at a dead sleep and you're just like everything in your body wants to continue to sleep and not get up and not do it. And you just need that. Please take your turn, take it. Like, I just need help. And so when you snap, I can relate to that. I feel like we've all been there where it's like, I'm losing my mind right now.
Yep.
This is it. This is the end.
100%. Still sometimes to this day, and he's almost 9 months old.
Witching hour is a real thing.
For real. Yeah, I know your kids are a little bit older, right, Rachel? So it's been a while since you...
Been a little bit. But I also have multiples. So I know what it's like to have a toddler and a newborn at the same time. I definitely feel like it's hard. The hardest part is the first one. But then you're already tired with your toddler and you have a newborn. But I had help. Yeah. I always had help. So I don't know. I can't really, like, he always helped. So I don't really know I can't give advice on that.
There's been times, because Camden went right back to work 2 weeks after we had him. Like, he didn't stay much longer, and then I wasn't working anymore. So when I could definitely tell a difference after those 2 weeks, and it was a lot harder. Because he has to leave the house by like 6:15 in the morning and then doesn't get home until like 5:30 at night. So like he works a long day. He works 45-hour weeks. Like, I get it. He needs to sleep. But sometimes when that baby wakes up 2 or 3 times, it gets kind of hard. But I mean, we're at a point, he's still going to wake up and help me. It's just less often. Like, especially if the baby is screaming while I'm making a bottle, he'll get up and take him out of the bed. Or out of his pack and play and start changing his diaper or something. So, like, I still get the help, but we did go through moments like this. Like, reading this story, I was like, did I write this?
Yeah.
I also had family help. So every kid that I had, when I came home from the hospital, we stayed with his grandparents for the first week at least. Mm-hmm. So that's even nice. If I was the only one waking up throughout the day, I had help and I could take naps. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I think this goes. I recently heard a story from one of my friends that they recently became parents of number 2, and so they're navigating the toddler stage and the baby stage. So they're saying it's so much harder, or like more difficult, because the toddler has that schedule where they're go 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 go. And they sleep during the night, but then you're up with the baby. And so it's like, you're not having that extra time to just sleep. So if I don't get my sleep, because like I only have one kid and she's 2.5. And when it came down, I slept when she slept. Like, I know people hate with that comment, but I literally took so many naps during the day and I got that recovery. But I think when we eventually have another one, it is going to be a struggle, because if I'm up at 3 a.m, or then 3:30 and then 4 and then 4, it's like you're not getting really back down. It's like, and then you have to be up during the day with the tot. Like, that's hard work. So I just applaud like all moms, all parents that are in it right now, are in the trenches doing the work and trying to be the best parent they are. And you're going to get those moments like this couple. You just snap, and of course, it's always your loved ones that you snap on, because that's who you feel. That's your safe spot. That's your person. And so you feel more comfortable, and they just happen to be in the firing range.
I've had to do a lot of apologizing in the last 9 months.
The part where you said he looked terrified kind of made me laugh, because I remember when I had my second, my husband had gotten up in the middle of the night to make a bottle while I was trying to calm our newborn down. And he was taking a really long time. And I'm like, did he literally fall asleep in the kitchen? So I got up to go check on him, and I met him in the doorway. I swear he was going to punch me in the face. He screamed. I terrified him, and he was like half asleep. So that made me laugh because I thought about that, but I don't know.
Yeah, newborn phase is a whole different ballpark than even infant. And then I'm assuming toddler's even more different. Like, I never thought like newborn and infant had like too much of, like, I thought they were like one and the same. And then now I realize like there is a newborn stage. And now he's an infant because he's not quite a toddler, but he's not the same as newborn.
No. It's different.
It's wild now.
We're in the trenches.
Yeah. Holy cow. Let me see if there wasn't any update, but they did say the original poster has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. And she said, "It's because I woke up my partner from a dead sleep by yelling at him because he wasn't helping enough with the baby. And this might make me an asshole because he has a full-time job while I stay at home with the baby." Which I kind of get.
Yeah.
I do kind of get. I mean, that's literally me. Like,
I don't identify her as an asshole. I would say that she just had an asshole moment.
Yeah, for real. For real. I think that's definitely true because postpartum really does take over everything. When you're in that stage, like, you'll feel one way 1 minute and you'll feel the complete opposite like a few minutes later.
It's crazy. I remember after I had mine, it was like a week later, and I was just upstairs and I was just crying. And my husband came up and was like, "What is wrong?" And I was like, "I don't know." And I was just crying. I literally don't even know what was going on. And I'm like not a person that like cries or cries very easily. Like it takes a lot for me to cry. And he was like, "What is wrong?" Like what? I don't know why I'm crying.
I cry a lot.
I don't know what's going on with me. It was just those hormones, man.
Yeah, they are intense.
All right, we have one more story. Let's get
one more, yeah.
All right, mine's called "Am I the Asshole for Calling My Wife Fat?"
Yes, I'm just kidding. I haven't even heard it.
34 male, work in a physically demanding field. Myself and my coworkers are all fit people without a lot of body type variety. The thing is, she's always been fat. The whole time I've known her, we dated when she was fat. We got married when she was fat. She knows she's fat. She's fat and she's beautiful. I'm happy if she loses weight and I'm happy if she stays where she is. I think she's the most beautiful woman in the world as is. One of my coworkers, Julia, 28 female, started complaining that she's too far to be loved. And fat people don't get to be loved. Julia isn't fat. She's maybe 120 pounds. She works out 5 times a week and barely ever eats. I told her that wasn't true and that my wife was fat. She got really red in the face and started telling me I wasn't allowed to call my wife fat. And I was insulting her and that my wife was beautiful and curvy. Carol, which is his wife, doesn't like being called curvy. She thinks it's a label used to avoid calling people fat because it's a dirty word to most people. I told Julia as much. Julia started threatening to tell my wife I called her fat. She pulled her up on Instagram and told me she was going to message Carol that I was being mean. I beat her to the punch and I called my wife, put her on speakerphone and asked if she was curvy or fat. Carol laughed and said, "I hate that curvy shit. Fat and beautiful, baby." I thanked her, told her I loved her, and hung up. As soon as I hit end, Julia went mental. She started screaming that I was abusing my wife. When I asked how, she said I was clearly brainwashing her into accepting the term fat to try to keep her complacent and from getting away from me. That no woman in her right mind would be okay with their husband calling them fat. I showed her a picture of my wife in a shirt that had BBW on it. She bought it herself, by the way. She stormed off and hasn't spoken to me since. Now, I just walked in today to an email from HR requesting a meeting with me. I don't think it's a big deal. I have my wife's blog for fat positivity. The shirt and can easily call her for proof, but now things are frigid at work, and Julia constantly gives me dirty looks when we're in the same room. She ignores me otherwise. So I'm just over here scratching my head. Am I the asshole for calling my wife fat?
A little bit.
Ew, I hate that word.
I don't like that word. I would prefer
I would
curvy.
not be okay with that.
Unless it's PHAT.
Honestly, if she is genuinely okay with it, that's fine. But don't go calling her that to other women. Anyone else, honestly. Leave that between you two, because not everyone feels the same about that word that she does. If she's truly okay with it, I'm curvy and I don't want to be called fat.
No,
well, I don't like any of it. I'd rather be called curvy.
Yeah, no, I'd rather
fat, sure, but
right now I'm just calling me a mid-sized girly. Yeah, mid-size is what I'll call myself, but don't anyone else. My feelings are sensitive.
I read the title of that and I was like, immediately yes. In no way is that okay. But then I read it and I was like, I don't know. There is an update which it just says that HR said he was fine, whatever, and all is well at home.
But also I need to say something about, Julia, mind your business.
Right?
For real.
Like, it's one thing to start the conversation of like, whoa, like, what are you doing? And then if he says like, oh no, like my wife's cool with it, like it's a thing, and then move on. Like, why are you still talking about it? Why are you still?
Why would she say that fat people can't be loved? Like that's what bothered me the most out of that whole story.
Get out, like, Julia.
What?
Julia's insecure.
But she doesn't eat. She needs to go get a cheeseburger.
She doesn't eat, and she works out 5 times a week, but she's very insecure.
What, 128 pounds? And what,
they're
working if they're working in a business world and they just seem like they're closer to like their mid-20s, 30s, like, get over it. I don't know.
Oh, but I do not. Okay, what does a shirt mean? I guess I don't know what those initial are. Those
BBW.
What is that?
Is it not? We can cut this out for sure. Is it not big, beautiful women? Or is it something more inappropriate?
Big, beautiful women.
It's big, beautiful women. Yeah.
Okay. That's not bad.
I mean, but I think you could still have that shirt and not call yourself fat.
Oh, I don't like that word. That was like a bad word when I was growing up.
Yeah. Like I
would not even imagine saying that, especially to somebody else's husband about his wife.
I have like childhood trauma from that word, not for myself, but because one of my, I wouldn't even call her a friend. I was like in 1st grade. She called my mom fat, and that made me so sad. And I went home crying, and they called you fat. My mom is not fat. But it's just the fact that she was just trying to hurt my feelings. And so now I'm like, that's such a mean word.
I had physical, uncomfortable reactions to the amount of times that fat was used in the first like minute of that story. When he kept saying it in his story, and I was like,
stop.
That word. Use something else.
He was like, yeah, my wife's fat. She's so fat. Like, I was just like, stop saying it.
She was we were dating and she was fat. We were married and she was fat. Yeah, he used it a lot.
Ugh, cringe.
I do not like that.
Yeah,
that's a no
I
for me.
do kind of think he is the ass in the situation. Only because that there's also the whole other, topic of the story, like, you don't go and talk about your wife to someone else like that. You just don't. And especially to a woman, another woman,
yeah.
Who is, I get what, this guy is also fit, right? Her husband is a
he said they're all fit.
I don't know.
Like, what brought it up, I guess? I was confused about that
Didn't
part.
she say she was calling herself fat or something? And he was like, no, you're not fat or something. I just hate saying that word.
Something up about. Julia started complaining that his wife was too far gone to be loved. She was
See, that's bad in itself.
Oh.
But she's gonna go to HR and complain. Wait, what?
Right?
That don't make sense.
No. And she's the one that brought it up. And that's basically what HR told him in the update that he gave, was like, just don't talk about it with her or anybody, just to keep this from going any further.
Honestly, they sound like a match made in heaven, Julia and this husband. They're both assholes.
I mean, in a way I could see him being an asshole, but in a way
he was like defending, but he was also
I don't think he should be talking about his wife being fat, even if she's bigger, to anybody, especially not another woman. But then again, she's comfortable in her skin, and that's what she wants to be called or wants to be labeled as. I still don't think it's right, but
I don't know. It's a weird situation, I feel like, because he was also defending her, but calling her fat.
And he told her that she was the most beautiful woman he's ever seen.
Wait, this is so confusing.
I don't know. I also don't want that to be like a thing. You know, like I don't want that to be normalized. Like calling women that are like heavier or have a couple more extra pounds to be calling them fat and feeling like that's fine. Like that's just how that's what they're called. You know, it's like, no, like I feel like it can be hurtful, and just because your wife may say it's okay, that doesn't mean all women. And so you're just out and about saying it. It's insulting. And so I think there needs to be like an awareness there of like, just because that one person said that doesn't mean that's acceptable for all.
Yep.
That would make me uncomfortable.
I agree with that.
For sure.
I mean, that would make me self-conscious at home. If I wasn't okay with that.
Oh God, and I don't even want to talk about that anymore.
But
dang, those were some doozies. Like all different types of crazy shenanigans that people are telling their stories about on Reddit.
Yeah, he's putting it out there for sure. I bet all the women are commenting like, "Excuse you, don't ever say that word again."
I know. We need to have a comment party and just read all the comments from that story.
Right.
Okay, so I could do one more if you wanted me to.
Let's do
or it's okay. Okay.
Let's do it. She's still got daylight. A little bit.
Yep.
All right, mamas. This one's pretty heavy.
Oh no.
So before I read it, you just need to take a deep breath. For anyone that's listening, go ahead and take a deep breath because this is heavy. It's called, "I Can't Do This Anymore. Please, I need advice and support." I, 23 female, don't want to be a mommy. I hate the fact every single day is a struggle with my toddler who's 2.5 female. I can't do anything without her getting into trouble. Yesterday, it was spilling the cat food all over the floor. Today, it's spilling the bright red nail polish on a cow-printed blanket that is incredibly beloved. Wallet is gone. My things picked up and ripped or shoved into other places. I'm heartbroken. I'm angry. I'm sad. Every single day, I wake up to her screaming since we're in the same bedroom. And every day I end up screaming right back because of how exhausting she is. Her dad is so lucky getting to maybe see her once a week. He's not the one she's going to end up hating. Lucky bastard. She loves seeing him. They have so much fun together. I wish we could do that. I have no support network. My parents have made it clear that I'm a single mom back at home. Her dad, 28 male, can't help without his mom, who he lived back with because he totaled his car. I'm totally reliant on when other people feel like helping. I'm so burnt. Like a motor running with no oil. I feel like I can't do anything, and her repeating high-pitched voice drives me up the wall. I try to count to 6 when I get upset, but she just matches me. Every day consists of crying and tantrums from both ends, multiple times, all the time. I generally am thinking how nice my life would be to put her up for adoption. I can't do this anymore. I haven't spent a single day without her since she was born. I used to find it an accomplishment, but I'm just so tired of all the time. Tired of my life, tired of my child.
That is heavy.
Very heavy.
I don't know. I can see how it can get frustrating sometimes. She's in a different situation because she doesn't have a significant other that is around to help. So, like, I can't fully put my shoes in. But, like, the first time my husband went out of town for, like, a weekend to hang out with his friends after we had the baby, like, it's a lot to do all by yourself. The whole 24 hours, like, it's a lot. And to do that pretty much all the time on your own, no support, no help, I could not imagine what that would be like.
No, it definitely sounds like she needs some kind of break.
Yeah. I mean,
100%.
It's been, I mean, hasn't it not been proven that postpartum lasts for a while, a long time? Like, at least all the hormone changes and all that stuff, it doesn't all of that last a couple years. So even if everything was fine at first, now that she's a toddler, like, it's flaring something up. So it's triggering something, and dang.
I think it's super bold for her to at least put it on Reddit and put it out there, because I know she probably can't just put it out there for people who know her. Like, that raw of being like, I can't do this. Like, I dread being around my kid, you know, like that. I can't relate to that. I mean, I can relate of like hard times.
Yeah.
But even in the hardest days, I've never had a thought of getting rid of my kid or wanting to get, you know, not have her around.
Yeah.
But I know that there's probably people just like her out there that are in it, and it's hard, and they have no support, and it's no one to, when I can't give, they can pick it up. Like, they don't have any of that support system, like she said. And she probably just wants to be that fun parent that just, like, they're enjoyable one, not the responsible one that has to correct and do all the things. But I also feel really bad for that kid. I know she's going through it, and I empathize with that, because it is very hard to be a parent. But that kid, like,
and she said that she wouldn't grow up hating her dad, but he only comes around maybe once a week. Like, she's got no, like, self-confidence either, because she's just so beaten down to, like, think that her own daughter won't like her because she gets frustrated right now. She's not going to remember a lot of this stuff at 2 years old.
And
things will change, like, the older she gets.
She's probably, the daughter's probably 2 years old. Yeah, you're starting to talk, but you're still learning how to communicate your feelings. And screaming, she probably does need something, or she's throwing a tantrum, but, like, I don't know. Like, they're just trying to communicate with you. Just give it another year, give it another 2 years until they learn how to fully communicate.
Yeah.
Especially since she's doing it by herself. I can't. I feel for her.
I know a lot of people in the comments had said, like, look into getting a daycare, look at, like, that time away where you can just have them, like, someone take, you know, your kid, like, paying a daycare or something. And I'm like, okay, but daycare is expensive, you know, like, that's not a good solution.
You can even look at hiring a teenager for like an hour, though. I mean, just to
I know.
watch, just to get away for like a little bit.
A friend said this to me: if you want something bad enough, you're gonna get it. You're gonna make it happen. So if you want therapy, if you want a support system, as in like mom friends or someone that can meet you halfway to help you through the trials, like, you're gonna make it happen. And I hope through her posting this, she gets some tools and she makes those steps and does it for her little girl.
Yeah. Dang,
That's heavy.
You'll have to keep that one saved. Was that like a recent post?
Yeah.
Like it was posted recently?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
You have to keep that one saved, and we'll have to check for updates periodically.
Yeah, that one's heavy when I read it. I can't think about not being a mom.
I'm still at the point I can't think about being away from him for a night. And I might be doing that on Saturday. So, like, y'all, be with me in spirit, because I'm going to go through the motions. I haven't been a night without him yet.
I'm past that a little bit, but...
I know. My sister said that it was rough. The first time she went without her oldest for a night, she was past 1 year old, and like she was already getting into that routine of like being at home, going to bed. She said, I wish we had started when he was a little bit younger, so I should do it now. And we have an opportunity to, so we can go party with our friends Saturday night. But I know it's going to be rough for me not waking up and him being right there. So I don't know.
Yeah. We don't stay away from our kids. Like, I think the only time our kids have ever stayed somewhere I wasn't was I was in the hospital having another kid. And
dang.
My kids don't go anywhere without me. Especially not overnight.
Yeah.
Maybe call me a helicopter mom. I don't know. Whatever. I don't trust a lot of people.
I haven't even fully decided if I'm going to stay the night where we're going, or if I'm just going to stop hanging out and waiting for a while and then going home. Like, I don't know. I know I should do it at least once, because he'll be with my mother-in-law, and they're actually coming back to our house, so he'll be in his environment, but that's like 45 minutes away from where I'm going to be. So I don't know. Anyway, we got stories of all kinds of emotions going up in here today.
I love it.
It was a good one.
Well,
three
mamas. Spilling the tea.
Spilling our opinions.
Spilling the tea.
Well, that's it. We'll see. I guess we're posting weekly now, if we're going to get this one out next week.
Well, that is.
So we'll be back next week. All right.
Well, make sure we're leaving a comment.
Yes.
Letting us know your opinion of these stories. Like, we want to know.
You know what we should do? If we get more people to comment on our videos, we're going to shout someone out on YouTube.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it.
Doing it well.
Already shout someone out. I know one person that's commented on ours.
The Happy Shop?
The Happy Shop.
Alrighty, well, we'll see y'all next week.
All right, thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.